Welcome back to It Tastes Like Burning This, Matt.
This is Jesse.
And if you ever feel like reaching out to us, you can find us on ittasteslikeburningcast at gmail.com. You can find us on, theoretically, Reddit. You been on there in a while?
No, not really.
The Even in the darkest of the night, no lantern helps there.
Yeah.
Twitter, X, and
Patreon.
Patreon, and you can always find us on YouTube at It Tastes Like Burning Cast. Always search in the description for the Patreon, where you can find awesome things and support our podcast.
Yeah. And while you're listening, just swipe up, find the like button on whatever you're listening on, whether it's YouTube or Spotify or whatever. Hit the like button and maybe think about writing a review. We've had some good comments here lately. It's been pretty good.
Excellent.
Yeah. There was somebody that said something productive. I'll see if I can't find that right quick and we'll acknowledge this.
Well, while Jesse's looking for that, yeah, if you can always like, click, subscribe, ring the notifications, and if you're ever feeling particularly feisty or festive, you can always shoot us an email. We would appreciate that.
Yeah, we had a couple comments over the last couple episodes. RJ Thomas had a comment on the AI episode and just kind of
Oh.
using AI as a social call was highly entertaining.
Speaking of reaching out, so we had a department in Australia reach out.
Yeah.
They will be unnamed just in case they're sensitive to such things. But we did send them a goodie bag.
Yeah.
So, yeah, reach out. It's not that hard.
And Colton von Everett Brown. It's a good German name.
No.
Yeah.
Probably not from Boston.
Yeah. Yeah. Said, "What if monkeys fly out of my ass?" Will be a future quote you'll use.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, it's a good one. I stole it from Madonna, so.
Yeah. The monkeys or the flying?
Both. Yeah.
Okay.
Flying monkeys out of her ass. So, yeah. Just, you never know.
So, what do we have on the docket for today?
Word soup.
You think?
Yeah, probably. We've been all over the place. We've been sitting here chewing the cud for a while.
By that he means heavily drinking
and talking. We just didn't stare aimlessly into each other's souls and just drink. We were chewing the cud, right?
Yeah.
And
I'm sure some of those conversations and remembrances would have been worth a while.
Yeah.
Minus the remembrances part.
Yeah. Deliverance?
Yeah. It's about the same.
Ned Beatty. Yeah. So I really don't have just a whole hell of a lot. Like it's kind of a weird time. We're in this weird spot, right? We got a lot of projects going on at the department. Bunch of things trying to wrap up the year, get some stuff done before the new year. Just kind of hammering through it, right? We oddly enough didn't have a recruit academy this fall.
Nope.
Myriad of different things going on there. Part of it is the old trading fields tore apart at the moment. I'm hoping to get that project wrapped up by the first of the year. Get that back in service and going like it should. We've had a lot of district meetings and SFFMA stuff. Been kind of traveling the state just a touch, not a lot, just a touch. Doing some reach out work and talking to some departments and doing a little bit of speaking at a few locations here and there.
Realistically, I got you beat on that front.
Oh, yeah.
Because last week I was in the Panhandle. This weekend we were in, let's call it
Big Country.
Yeah.
That's what they call themselves.
That'll work. Aptly named. And then next weekend I'll be in West Texas.
Yeah.
So,
Where the men are men and the sheep are, well, they're sheep.
yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think there's any sheep out there.
If
You'd
there
be
are,
walking a long time to find a sheep.
you'll find some grass eventually.
Yeah. But yeah, there's so many potential irons in the fire, not to mention rebuilding our burn house. Turns out that's not a small project.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's a humdinger. If you venture down that road, just realize it costs about 10 times more than you think it should, and uh, build it stronger than you think it needs to be.
Yeah, and if for the love of God you got it tore apart,
Fix it right.
at least so you don't have to make the repairs in your lifetime
Yeah, no,
again.
I'm shooting for my tenure here is done, and somebody else can deal with it the next time.
Yeah.
That's the goal. And if that means I got to quit next week,
Yeah, there's a new budget year. The fiscal side of everything's kind of weird. Um, and I would argue we're one of the few agencies, departments, entities that's in a good spot coming forward. And for whatever reason, I can't find any chewing tobacco, so I'm going to turn it. Oh, there it is.
there it is.
Uh,
Just bang some more
stand
stuff.
by, Jesse. Stand by.
Ding.
Yeah,
Yeah.
God knows. I don't know where I'd be in the world if it wasn't for the fine people that represent the American tobacco farmer.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a bad day. Those are the salt of the earth. Every single one of them should be patron saints.
Yeah. They're all right.
No, they're critical.
They are critical. Them, the corn farmers, the barley farmers,
Rye,
rye,
peat,
the yeast farmers.
yeah, potato,
Yeah, all the good stuff.
agave.
Yeah.
Those are critical people.
It's yeah. What was it in COVID where you were
Essential.
essential? Yeah, essential. That's what I was. I realized that after the fact, I was essential.
Yeah. Just as quick, minute bird dog onto COVID. What's the one business that guaranteed didn't close down during COVID?
Liquor stores.
I was going to say marijuana dispensaries, but yeah, liquor stores had a tendency to be open 24/7.
Yeah.
I would also argue if anyone's interested, liquor stores are the first ones that started Grubhub.
Yeah. Yeah. Home delivery. That's important.
Yeah,
Because you can't go back for another case of beer after you've already had the first two.
by 11 a.m.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a problem.
Yeah.
So,
What else do you want to talk about?
uh, interesting. We were at a district meeting
Yeah.
yesterday. They had a
District 8. What are the, besides Biscotty?
Midwest
Midwest,
Texas.
which is awesome.
Yeah, they had a
They're
great
doing some
turnout.
awesome stuff.
Yeah, the guys are working hard at doing some things and getting some stuff rolling. I got to teach a little bit of a class, uh, for what it was worth. Yeah, I just I hope most of the people didn't fall asleep.
I suspect your discussion point was kind of like my discussion point with the local Rotary.
Yeah,
I had about 3 minutes of an hour.
yeah. Now it's about what I got, but you take what you can get.
It's all right.
It's all
Shoot
right.
from the hip. Keep you honest.
Yeah, and I guess that's the kind of the third or fourth thing that we've ventured off to. You're going to one this weekend.
Yeah.
Uh, I was in a Central Texas town on Tuesday night speaking, and it's good. It's good to do some outreach, get more folks involved, kind of lead from the front kind of thing.
Right.
That is important. I always think that's an important part of what we do. Uh,
I think this is a good time to kind of brag about the state of Texas because Texas is about to dive off theoretically knee deep in the bush into a really radical new concept. So we had a couple of major events in Texas in the last couple of years. And the state of Texas is actually doing a significant amount of what's the best way to kind of describe this? Solidifying the base, reinforcing the foundation, where I would argue I'm going to use a dirty word, where Texas is being exceedingly progressive on not only wildland firefighting, but I would also add
Public safety in general.
just public safety and natural disaster response. Um, and it really is for us because we're in the thick of things. We've just kind of gone along with it, but realistically, anywhere in the U.S., nothing like this is happening. Uh, Long story short, the Texas legislature and Governor Abbott, they have released a colossal amount of money for building a wildfire protection and management program that involves grants for counties to apply for wildland mitigation, but they're also taking an exceedingly progressive front forward on trying to tackle wildland fires before they get big.
Yeah.
And what they're creating, well, we call it the Texas Air Force, but they're looking at buying some aerial tankers, helicopters, spotter airplanes, have it centrally located in Texas. And then on top of that, they're dumping a gigantic amount of money into the volunteer world.
Yeah. I think combined that's around $400 million.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a lot of money. They're probably, even with the other things that are on the tap, it's a $500 million with
Yeah,
the emergency management stuff and some
right.
of the other research stuff that's happening with that. Right? They're in that $500 million range of money that they're spending on this, and it's hopefully going to the right things and doing the most good that it can do.
Yeah, well, I think it'll be mostly good. Don't get me wrong. There's some bureaucracy here, and you're going to lose some. I'm going to call it 85, 90% on the head,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
5% that just fizzles. And there's just going to be about 5% that doesn't hit.
Yeah. No, there's definitely some of that. And you're talking about, air tankers. That's not a Prius, right? That's an investment.
Yeah, no, like I could spend the next 4 hours talking about the aviation side of this. All I'll tell people is that good luck.
Yeah.
Like those are special people. The requirements are tight, but at least the pay's not too much. So good luck.
Yeah. Yeah.
The director of that,
Yeah. That job posted here a while back.
yeah.
So they're moving forward. They're building hangars. They're doing stuff even before the aircraft show up to get ready for the aircraft. They have been working on it for the last several months, like even though the funding is coming through basically now, uh, they've been doing a lot of the groundwork to get things ready to move forward with that, and making the deals with the different airports and stuff like that to get that done.
Yeah, I actually think it's a really good idea. And maybe that's part of the discussion that we have today. So, I think the interesting thing on the backside of this is that the state's dumping truly colossal amounts of money into VFDs. Okay.
Yeah.
It's about the direct face value is 200 million.
Right.
Okay. I am interested to see what the theoretical requirements or repercussions of that $200 million investment is on the backside.
Right.
Now, here's the good news. Granbury Volunteer Fire Department is already 5 years ahead of the power curve on this. So whatever they institute doesn't matter because we have it. We already require it, and we already trained to that standard.
Yeah. So there, hopefully, and I'm not a huge fan of a bunch of regulation, but hopefully the the disbursement of the money increases the level of training and some of those things that need to go along with that,
Right.
right? Yeah, I'm not a fan of regulation for the sake of regulation,
Correct.
but I think there's opportunities there to expand capabilities, and with that expansion of capabilities, there's obviously a need to for the departments to do their part of that too. So, oh, Matt's getting messages. Uh, oh yeah, it's a cat with a hat on, right? Chicken with a duck mask. So yeah, it'll be an interesting deal. I'm curious to ultimately see what we end up with out of this bucket of money. Uh, I assure you, it'll be a very small drop in the bucket. It won't be it won't be a lot of anything, but it'll be our little piece of the pie. Uh, we do have a lot of those requests in. We've had them in for years, so we were pretty far up the list anyway on some of that stuff. So we'll see where it pans out for us. Uh, and people all say, "Well, you guys have money. You don't need that," or you've got everything you need. You always need more. It doesn't
Right.
matter.
No.
It doesn't matter if your budget's 5,000 or 500,000. You always need more. There's something that you don't have. There's something that needs to be replaced. There's something that stays broken most of the time. There's always a need there, no matter how much you have or how much work you do. There's always a big list of stuff on the back end that you need to be taken care of. Hence how we end up rebuilding a burn house, right?
Right. Yeah, there's it's all relative.
Right.
It really is. Whether you have a two bay station that's metal sided and two brush trucks, or whether you're New York City, it's all relative.
Yeah, you just need more stuff, right?
Yeah.
Takes a lot of stuff to keep the machine that we got running, uh, dollars and equipment, right?
Yeah. Just
It
raw,
just does.
raw resources and cash.
Yeah, and I think that gets lost sometimes in it. I think that the other thing that gets lost in it is, when you're running 150 calls a month, that's a lot more than some departments run in a year,
Right.
and they don't. That doesn't necessarily equate dollar to run kind of thing, right? We don't get some departments that have 150 runs a year, we don't get their annual operating budget in a month.
Right.
So that's an interesting way to look at some of that stuff. Yeah, granted there's economy to scale, but it's not what you think it is.
No, no. I mean, at the end of the day, whether you're entirely self funded or whether you're municipal, county, ESD based, there's always someone there to say no.
Right.
And if not, the old bank account
Yeah.
stands as a tried and true testament of no.
And the bake sale.
No, there is that too.
So I have an interesting theory that I think that just due to the political climate in Texas and kind of how things have been going and how tax averse Texans are at the current time,
Oh, it just became a 3-hour podcast.
that that you're going to see a rapid decline in the amount of ESDs formed
Right.
over the next few years. Uh, care to comment or elaborate on that at all?
Yeah. So we have north of us who I consider an ESD expert. And not only an expert, but like the foremost leader in the state of Texas on ESDs. I would love to be able to get just 10 minutes with him, but I promise you, if it's 10 minutes, it's 6 hours
Right.
to talk about what the current political climate is in Texas and the difficulties going forward with creating an ESD right now.
Yeah.
The big issue is that the same state legislatures that we're so grateful for providing a gigantic boon to VFDs, they're also very, very tax averse, and particularly they're going against property taxes. And I think if all of them could wave a magic wand and magically have zero property taxes in the state of Texas, I think they do it. In
Yeah.
fact, I know they would.
I think so. And I think there's a big push to eliminate property taxes in Texas.
Right.
And that plays against the whole premise of an ESD, right?
The problem is that Texans are so tax averse, but it's not the property taxes that are eating them alive. It's the school taxes, but they're getting them confused. Now, before we get bombarded, we support the education of the children today and going forward. But the fact of the matter is that in the state of Texas, there is no income tax. They either tax property or sales. Sales tax is capped at 8.25. So that leaves only property tax. That's it. That's the only way to fund anything going forward. It creates a universal and arguably extremely challenging forward or front going forward the second you eliminate property tax or put a physical cap on the amount that's collected from property tax. That's a challenge to municipalities, it's a challenge to counties, and it's a challenge to school districts because there's no other way to tax. And I don't know what the hell they're going to do.
Yeah, it's a conundrum. I good good job for the ones that have already got it done. The ones that are thinking about doing it, good luck. Like I'm not even sure you're going to be able to get that done.
Right.
Uh, I just I don't know that at a state level they're going to continue to allow that to happen. Uh, I was just kind of perusing some numbers there. Uh, Interestingly enough, it doesn't really work in our county. Uh, it's just kind of a hodgepodge, a mix match, and I don't see how it divides up in a way that takes care of those that are already beyond the level that they're already being taken care of, and just because of the limits that apply.
Right.
So
The craziest thing is that in our county commissioners for the last 25 years are so far ahead of the power curve on funding, particularly the fire departments, that I eh, I mean this the nicest way possible. I don't think they actually understand at how big of an impact that they've made, and on top of that, at how non-standard their funding mechanism is. I don't know of another county in Texas, arguably the US, that funds their VFDs the way that our county does.
yeah, it's
And
pretty rare.
and particularly to the amount that they do. Here's the problem. It's not enough. But here's the problem. If you create an ESD, it's barely more than what they're already paying out.
Right.
And you're not increasing the current tax rate. So, again, you got to remember, you got to factor in our population is extremely tax averse. They are. They shot down by 80%, 2 cents on the 100 for ambulances. Okay. I don't care what you think about that. That's reality.
That's what happened.
Okay. But we are getting a huge boon from the current setup that we have with the commissioners. I think the other catastrophic thing that no one really wants to realize with an ESD, this instantly makes us a pariah. The fact of the matter is that no one understands the history of an ESD. The history of an ESD in the state of Texas was never to provide staffing. That was not the purpose. The purpose was to provide tools, equipment, training, and
Station.
eventually stations and apparatus. The second that you introduce the staffing model, it fails. It doesn't work. It'll never work. I, whatever.
It takes a hell of a lot of tax space to do that, right? And there's
Right.
some counties that it works, but it's let's just say you've got to be more heavily populated than what our county is.
Yeah. By a
Or
factor of
or have a base at least, tax base
about 550%.
yeah, tax base that exceeds what ours is by quite a bit. So yeah, it's interesting. It's a weird discussion to have that Matt and I have all the time, and it people don't understand it. It takes a lot to explain it. Uh, how it just it it doesn't get you to where you think it gets you
No,
in every location.
no. It was never intended for that. That's the problem. An ESD was intended to be tools, equipment, stations, apparatus.
Yeah.
It was never intended to be staffing. And it sure as hell was never intended to be staffing of 4 or 5 people per truck.
Yeah. Just kind of an impassable thing. So,
Yeah, I feel sorry for the organizations that are either on the path of staffing through an ESD or complete staffing through an ESD,
yeah. It's
because it'll
there's
never work.
some of them, it's a give and take. Some of them get staffing through the sacrifice of equipment and back and forth, and some of them do real well because their population density is far below what their assessed values are because of industry or something like that that has just colossal value for the tax rolls. Uh, you see that out west some where they have, oil or industry like that, energy industry sector stuff that's padding those tax rolls quite a bit. And hey, more power to them, right?
Sorry if we sound a little distracted. We're looking at we'll call it an airplane crash on the north side of Fort Worth.
Yeah.
It's kind of
Somebody
like,
else send it to you.
yeah, kind of a wild critter.
Yeah. So there was a there's a DFW area department the other day that had a Mayday. Did you hear about this?
Yes.
So, without getting into armchair quarterbacking and all this kind of stuff that I'm not a big fan of, this department had a Mayday. Like downtown Florida. Oh, you got video. And ended up sending some folks to the hospital, uh, getting them burned, had some problems. And one of the things that was a contributing factor to this was they were on the second story of a house doing uh, a primary search, without a hose line, without uh, protection, and the upstairs flashed on them.
Right.
Fire transferred up to the upstairs, and I'm gonna just put this out there. You guys tear us up in the comments. I There's a lot of circumstances to all those calls, right? This particular one confirmed all occupants are out. They're all in the front yard. Everybody's accounted for. Like there is a crew doing fire attack on the first floor. There's stuff happening. So it's not like they were ignoring the fire.
Right. No, no, no. They were doing solid work.
Yeah, and it just turned tits up on them, and and really was a bad deal. And I'm just curious. I have my thoughts and my feelings on some of that, and is every space tenable until it's searched?
So, unfortunately, me and you agree on this.
Right. And
So, I'm I'm going to come out and make my point perfectly clear. You arrive on scene. The second floor is fully involved and it's pushing into the first floor. The family is standing at the mailbox and they say, "There's no one on the second floor." I'm going to take their word for it.
yeah, as am I. Right.
So I'm not a big believer in willingly sacrificing your membership on theory and cool points.
So, and cool points is an interesting way to look at that, but I I think you got to look at every incident with the information that you have, and you have to make an educated, informed decision about your tactics. And there is no way to write an SOP that every time we're going to do this exact same thing.
No, and you shouldn't. That's the kicker. You shouldn't have an SOP for that. The decision needs to be based by the fire crew on scene. I didn't say stop the interior attack.
No.
I didn't say that. I said don't search the second floor for victims willy nilly.
Yeah.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
You still have a house protect lot. You still have property to protect. You still have a job as a firefighter to put every effort forward into protecting that property. But I am not saying put the surrender stick up, bail into some random room when the family tells you no one's there. Okay, fine. I don't care that statistically 1 in 100 million, the college kid is home from college and no one thought about that. It is what it is. The fact of the matter is there's 2,600 to 3,000 fire deaths every year in the US. There's 340 million people in this country. Do you realize what the odds are that that room's occupied?
Or, yeah. Or that somehow, I don't know. I think a lot of it has to go back to your previous statement for cool points.
That's all it's about. That's all it's about. To sit there and say, well, that we have a duty to life and property preservation. You know what? You do. Whose life?
All of the above.
Do you not have a responsibility to go home? Do you not have a responsibility to your crews to not die?
Or kill your crew.
I mean, come on. I'm sorry. It's such a flawed logic of thinking.
Yeah.
No one, cops don't think that way. Military doesn't think that way. EMS doesn't think that way. An ER doctor doesn't think that way. The trash truck guy doesn't think that way. Why the hell do you think you get to assume the burden of responsibility of
Martyrism.
martyrism? I'm sorry, you don't.
Yeah.
You don't. You no. Come off the high horse on this. You have a responsibility to your family. You have a responsibility to your crew or your teammates. If you're willingly to just throw your life away, what about the other times when you show up to a scene and they say my kid is upstairs?
Or better yet, what happens when you show up to that lift assist and you push the patient into a no ride,
Right.
right? Yeah, you convince them that they're fine, that they don't need to go to the hospital, and you know they don't wake up the next morning. Like, you can't draw that line in the sand that these people are worth dying for and these people's lives don't matter.
Yeah. And I'll tell you what, I've drank enough. I'll take it one step further. Okay. A very common theme that's starting to creep up in the fire service is burnout of compassion. Okay. That's a term I've started to hear within the last month and a half, 2 months. Okay. You show up to a random call and you decide what your actions are going to be instead of, I'm just going to do my job and do the best with the information that I have for the victims or potential patients that I have. And it's some sort of weird twist on, the family said no one's in there, but they're idiots. And I'm going to go show them because I'm a firefighter that I need to verify no one's in there. What? It makes no sense. You are taking the whole purpose of being a firefighter, the community service, the betterment of a community, the good for mankind, and you absolutely manipulating it into some sort of bastardization of self glory.
Yeah.
And it's got to stop. It just does. God almighty. You can't sit there and have the conversation that the modern fire construction, the modern fire behavior is not what our fathers and grandfathers had, and then turn around and look at a family standing in the front yard and call them liars.
Right. And then employ tactics that
Are so antiquated
archaic, yeah.
and archaic and obsolete and useless. And we won't even dare to go in to the fact that the modern structure fire rates are so much lower today than they were 5, 10, 15,
Well,
25, 50 years ago. Okay? We won't even acknowledge the fact that the structure fire rates are lower because modern fire safety's increased, and we won't even go into the fact that modern structure fires are exponentially more violent. We'll completely skip over the fact that at face value, you were told that no one's inside. Now, I can give you 5 stories in the last quarter where that statement was made in the front yard, and fire departments went inside and made a grab.
yeah. No, it's a judgment call, but there's nothing wrong with coordinated, right?
Right.
Coordinated attack search same time. There's nothing wrong with using tactics that are proven, that have worked, that that the only metric that's going up is the metric of firefighters losing their careers or their lives, right?
Right.
The metric of the public that's being saved, that number's not going down because of these behaviors or these mentality that's happening. I think that's a really deep conversation. I don't think I'm at all qualified
No one is.
to
That's the
to have
fact of the
that.
matter is that no one's qualified to have that discussion. And here's why. Because what it's basically boiled down to is your ability to throw your nuts on a hot plate.
Right.
That's the problem with this discussion is that you can't sit there and have a rational discussion about it. Because if you don't do it, you're a pussy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Forget the fact that I actually care about your life and that you're willing to go kill yourself for an event that you didn't cause. And your sole purpose is to go in there and actually try and do something capable and competent for not only that victim, but all victims.
Uh,
considering the time, energy, and effort that's poured into that individual.
Yeah.
And you're willing to what? I mean, the word is sacrifice yourself. Okay. For what?
You know,
What
it's
about your entire career?
and speaking of sacrificing yourself, not one single fire has ever gone out due to the sacrifice of firemen.
No. I'll give you a perfect example. 9/11. Is there any other debate on this? How much blood do we have to pour on this? It's crap. Don't get me wrong. Firefighting's inherently dangerous.
And don't
Okay?
and don't misconstrue what I'm saying as a reason to not train to do those things.
Right. Or expect to do those things. But there's nothing wrong. And I'm going to kind of tie into something you said earlier. Okay? To survey the entire scene and comprehend and compute all the data and understand not this one. You're not expected to kill yourself. God, what a sad state to be in.
Well,
I don't expect anyone to go kill themselves. Jesus, I expect you to show up and apply all the training we've dumped into you. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
and I think some of that also plays into the increased rate of suicides and some of that because I think sometimes the whether you're a firefighter or not, sometimes people don't have a value on their own existence or their own life, right? Or they don't see themselves as valuable, and that those things go together. I'm good. The I think there's a correlation there that as a society we've where we may value someone else's life, our own self value is not there.
Right. And a major part of this discussion that we're kind of glancing over is you show up to that worst possible situation. Okay. At the end of the day, there's certain factors that lead to the success of that crew doing the save. Some of those, but not limited to, involve response time. They involve the amount of personnel on scene. They involve the experience of the individuals on scene. You can be a 35-year firefighter, but if you've worked at a department that has one fire every 15 years, I'm sorry, that's a different scenario than a very, very, very busy department that has 15 structure fires a week. Okay? So we're having a very open-ended statement and conversation, and we're not actually talking about the local factors that also have a significant impact on the outcome of that event.
Well, and you're negating building construction, you're negating
Weather,
training, weather, 100 other things that
water supply, tactics, operations, SOPs, SOGs. Like, God, it's not an open ended thing. And I'm sorry. I get to have an opinion in this. because I'm a chief of a department and you're have been a chief and an assistant chief of a department that's been on the saving grace and the sad side of this argument.
Right.
Okay? So I'm sorry. Go pound sand. I get an opinion on this.
Yep.
And I don't care what TikTok video and divine inspiration you have until you've actually been forced to be on the other end of a nozzle or as an officer or as a chief of this discussion. Your opinion counts, but other opinions matter.
Yeah.
So it is. It's just absurd. And I have an axe to grind with the fact that the classic our purpose is job is to save lives. No, your purpose is to attempt to save lives. Your purpose is not to be a lemming off a cliff.
Yeah.
There is a difference.
Yeah. No, there's a lot that goes into one being good. Like, it's more than just the physical training. It's the mental knowledge. It's the toughness. There's 100 different things, and to take such a myopic approach to things that you're just gonna be that lemming, right?
Yeah. And I'm sorry, I'm going to defend our statement here. Go pound sand. I send firefighters weekly to some of the largest fire departments in the world, and they get hired. Go
Yeah.
pound sand. I know what the hell I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I do. I just do. And I know we're just schmuck volunteers and, woe is us. God knows we don't know what the hell we're talking about. But we do. Whether you want to hear that or not, we do.
Yeah.
And if you really want me to mushroom stamp you, I probably have, I don't know, 15,000 emergency responses under my belt. Probably, I'll go on the low side, 2,000 structure fires that I've responded to. Like pound sand, that's a very conservative number.
Yeah.
Like if you want me to justify it, because at the end of the day, that's what this whole conversation's based off of. And if you really want me to qualify it, I'm trying to think just off the top of my head how many other chiefs we have on our department.
There's around a dozen.
Oddly enough, we all agree. And I know some of them are nothing more than the humble schmuck volunteer. But some of them are from cities of like 600,000.
Yeah.
Tens of thousands of calls a year. And it is. And it's not that I don't want to have the discussion.
And
It's a good discussion to have. It really is, because here's why. At the end of the day, it's about passion.
right.
Okay?
And I assure you, if the preponderance of the information leads me to that road, I'll die in that fire.
Right.
Absolutely. Don't have a problem with that. Like, I accept that. I know that. Like, that's if that's what the call leads me to to need to do to make every effort, I'm all for that. I'm just not about wasting effort for no reason.
Right. Yeah, there's part of this argument that needs to also be argued passionately. Okay? There's nothing wrong with wanting your crews to live. I don't expect my guys to go die. As far as I'm concerned, and I even hate saying it because I'm not even superstitious, but if I'm able to do my entire term as chief and never have to do a firefighter funeral, I would argue that's my greatest success. And that should be goal for everyone. No crew deaths. None.
Well, we have bloviated all over the place for about an hour.
Excellent.
So I'm sure we hit all the buttons.
Oh, yeah. Sure, there's people plenty ready to send us anthrax. Remember, don't use UPS
Yeah.
or USPS.
Yeah. No Amtrak's.
Yeah, no Amtrak's.
Yeah. If you're going to send it to Matt's personal home address, which is
Pretty easy to find.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, it ain't that hard. You'll be able to figure it out. So if you ever have a significant divergence of opinion, we'd love to have you on the podcast. You can reach out to us at ittasteslikeburningcast at gmail.com. You can find us on YouTube. You can find us on Patreon. This is Matt.
This is Jesse.
Have a good evening.